Hello, folks. Just as an FYI, this is a pre-recorded presentation. After this presentation, we will be going to a live session question and answer, followed by a live session student panel and question and answer session. So this presentation is Veteran and Military Affiliated Student Welcome. Congratulations and welcome to UC Berkeley. My name is Luis Fernandez. Hey folks, we'll be starting here in just a few minutes. I just wanted to test the audio. We'll give it about 5 more minutes before we get started. For those of you who just joined, we will be starting at 4:05. Thank you. We are streaming. We're going to be starting at 4:05. So we should be starting here shortly. Hello, folks. Just as an FYI, this is a pre-recorded presentation. After this presentation, we will be going to a live session question and answer, followed by a live session student panel and question and answer session. So this presentation is Veteran and Military Affiliated Student Welcome. Congratulations and welcome to UC Berkeley. My name is Luis Fernandez. I am the Program Coordinator and Academic Achievement Counselor with the Cal Veteran Services Center. A little bit about myself. I am a Marine Corps veteran and I am a Cal alum as well, class of 2010.
Hi, everybody. This is Jay Nelson. I am the campus certifying official. I work in the Office of the Registrar. I'm a former Air Force veteran, and I can assist with your certifying your benefits.
Hello, everyone. My name is Esperanza Bernal, and I'm a Senior Assistant Director with the Office of Undergraduate Admissions. I, too, am a Cal alum, class of 07, and a U.S. Navy veteran.
And just to give you an idea of who is on this as a student community, we have students on here who are, undergraduates, graduate students, freshman admits, transfer admits, graduate admits, active duty veteran, National Guard, reservists, and dependents. I know our name, the Cal Veteran Services Center, highlights veteran, but I really want to encourage you and welcome you to our community and our center. Also, I want to let you know, to be able to ask us questions, if you could text your question to 510-447-5475, please make sure to include your student ID or application ID in case we do need to follow up with you. We also encourage you to visit veteran.berkeley.edu/newly-admitted-students, where you will be able to find a lot of this information, as well as a lot of useful links connected to this information, our contact information, and also how you can connect with current students who are peer advisors during the daily Zoom sessions that they have Monday through Friday. Just to give you an overview of what we'll be talking about, Esperanza will be talking about some updates from the Office of Undergraduate Admissions. Jay will be touching on information and updates from the Office of Registrar. Then we'll go into the Cal Veteran Services Center, sort of what we do and the services we offer there. Then I'll be touching on student budget, financial aid, and also how your VA education benefits impact your financial aid or may impact your financial aid. Followed by housing. So we'll be touching a little bit on housing. Then the question and answer portion of our presentation, followed by the student panel and question and answer session with them. So with that, I'll hand it off to Esty.
All right, so congratulations. I know that there's kind of a lot of things going on in everybody's head with, the worldwide pandemic that we're in, but we do want to take this time and really, really understand that you've worked very hard these past few years to make sure that you've stayed competitive, that you've done your classes, that you've been admitted to UC Berkeley. And what's next, right, in this time of uncertainty. So there's a few things we really want to make sure moving forward is that this year for the class of 2020, well, the incoming class of fall 2020, you will be able to use pass and credit to fulfill your general education, GE, and major preparation requirements for the spring of 2020. So for this term that you're currently in, if you, for some reason, have to switch over to pass or credit instead of getting a letter grade, that's fine. We will accept that. I know that in a lot of our IGETC articulation agreements, we do specifically say that we need letter grade. For this time, we're gonna just go ahead and make sure that we're giving you guys that option. We know these are very difficult times, and so we're going to go ahead and accept that pass and credit fill those two requirements. Now, if you for some reason had to withdraw from courses or you won't be fulfilling the major prerequisites, that's something different, and we really want you to make sure that you go on to your conditions of admission, and in the bottom, and I believe I have a slide on this, you will need to submit an academic update form. So it's called an admissions update form. And please give us as much information, whether what impacted your decision to withdraw from classes. We really are in the business of making sure that we support you, that we are accommodating. We're going to work as much as possible to be flexible with you. So make sure that you let us know what's happening early on in the process. Now, you will be able to kind of work with your admissions officer. They are going to be assigned to you, and you'll see their name at the top of your conditions and their email. But I will encourage you to make sure that you go through the academic update form or the admissions update form. That way, there's like this record of your communication with us as an institution rather than you going into somebody's inbox. So just that academic update form is going to be really important, especially when we're talking about your conditions of admission. Now, conditions of admission, there is a page above this. I kind of screenshot this section of it. Now, there's a lot of things that I mentioned, right? You've worked very hard. This is a very, kind of weird situation that everybody is in for some reason or another. You may have some issues staying in is not meeting conditions. It's really important that you read your conditions of admission, read them all. We give you a lot of information. And one thing you should kind of, take in is that, great, I've been admitted, this is awesome, but there's a lot of things you need to do as a student to let us know that, one, that you're coming to us, and two, if anything's changed, we really need to know because we admit on what information you provide to us. So it's really important to know that. Now, again, this text is somewhat small, but I have pointed arrows to where you can find this document. So all you have to do is click on that undergraduate admissions update form, and you will be asked a few questions, and make sure you provide very detailed information for us. And that way we will get back to you ASAP with a plan, what are your next steps. And so make sure that we're here for you. We understand these are very, kind of singular situations to be in. But we don't know what's going to happen if you don't tell us. So it's really important to know that you need to take the initiative to contact us and to connect with us. And that's going to be by utilizing your admissions update form.
Awesome, thank you, SB. Again, just a reminder, text us your questions at 510-447-5475. Please include your name, student ID, or application ID in case we need to follow up with you. Now I'll hand it off to Jay Nelson, Certified Official, Office of the Registrar.
Thank you, Luis and Esperanza. My name is Jay Nelson. I'm the school certifying official here at UC Berkeley. I help students each semester by submitting your enrollment information to the VA for the purposes of getting your benefit payments going. First thing you'll want to keep in mind, first place you want to start is our website. It's registrar.berkeley.edu. On that website, you'll see a tab for veteran benefits. There's a lot of useful information there. Definitely take a look at the checklist for initiating benefits. That'll tell you all the documentation that I need to get your benefit going, and it'll tell you where to send it. There's also some important information about what to expect after certification. A lot of information about how your benefit will work and the different policies here at UC Berkeley as well. You can go ahead to the next one, Luis. So these are our main benefit types. Most common benefit used is the Chapter 33 post 9/11 GI Bill. This benefit's available for veterans. Also, some dependents are using it. Military folks can transfer this benefit to their dependents. So we have a good combination of veterans and dependents here using different benefits. The post 9/11 GI Bill includes a tuition and registration fees payment. They'll send that directly to the school each semester. And you directly will receive a monthly housing allowance and a book stipend split between the fall and spring semesters. If you're a dependent, you might be using the Chapter 35 Dependents Educational Assistance Benefit. It's a monthly stipend during the semester. that you might be utilizing. There's a couple other benefits here. There's an employment program for Chapter 31. If you're using any of these benefits, you want to reach out to me and I can help you take care of that. We can go to the next page, Luis. Thank you. So some of the things that we need to keep the VA updated with, we're going to send your unit counts to the VA before the semester starts. We'll use your estimate of units. Each college on campus has a different full-time requirement. The thing you need to keep in mind for the VA, you want to be enrolled at least 12 units for undergrads and most graduates. As long as you're in 12 units, you're gonna maximize your benefit. We need to let the VA know if your major changes, anytime your units change. So let us know if your major units change. Any financial aid that is designed to pay tuition or registration fees, we've got to account for that. The VA is not going to pay those fees twice. We're gonna track that for you. If you become aware of some sort of financial aid that you didn't have when the semester began, give us a call. It's always good to check in with us. And then one important reminder, I just want to let everybody know any passing grade is going to be good to go with the VA. As long as you're taking courses that are counting toward your degree goal or your overall unit count that you need for your degree, if you pass those classes, you're going to be good to go. You may encounter a problem with the VA if you receive what is called a non-punitive failing grade. That would be like a no pass grade or unsatisfactory. Those units have to be reported to the VA. We'll have to reduce your unit count, and it could bring you below the full-time threshold, which is 12 units, and that could result in prorating of your benefits. So you want to make sure you're in constant communication with our office. If anything's changing with your schedule, we'll make sure that you're protected and that we handle your benefit how we should. That's about all I have for you guys today. Once again, congratulations on your admissions.
Awesome. Thank you, Jay. So for those of you who are joining us late, text us your questions to 510-447-5475. Please make sure to include your name, SID, or application ID in case we need to follow up with you. So moving forward to the Cal Veteran Services Center and who we are and what we do, I just wanted to orient you to the bigger structure on campus that the CVSC resides in. We fall under the Division of Equity and Inclusion, and within that, we are part of the Centers for Educational Equity and Excellence, a cluster of programs that ensure non-traditional students excel at UC Berkeley. Within CE3, we fall under the Independent Student Programs. And I'm just mentioning this because you as an individual, your identities intersect with many other student communities on campus, and we want you to be able to be comfortable in our space, but also be able to explore the many different centers, resources, and opportunities on campus. So yeah, this is the Centers for Educational Equity and Excellence, Independent Student Programs, the Transfer Student Programs, and the Educational Opportunity Programs. Some of our affiliate programs within the Centers for Educational Equity and Excellence are the Basic Needs Initiative, Berkeley Underground Scholars, Cal Nerds, and the Transfer Transition Program. I recommend you go to ce3.berkeley.edu to find out more about these different programs here on campus. So here, this is our mission statement and a statement of what we do. You can find this throughout our website, but in a nutshell, what it is we do at CVSC is we are here to support your education, professional, and personal goals. Who we are as a staff, again, I am the program coordinator and academic counselor. We have peer advisors who staff the center, Mike, Chris, Alfred, Gloria, Oy, and Ron. And then we also have veteran outreach peer advisors, VOPAs, who do outreach and recruitment throughout the state of California to transfer students and different military installations within the state. And that's Luis, Purvis, Philip, Kevin, and Adele. You can reach them at cvsc@berkeley.edu. They'll also be here all summer long. If you need to connect with them, that's our contact information. What do we do within the Vet Center? What services do we offer? One of the biggest things we do is counseling. We do academic, financial aid, VA benefits, personal counseling. We also partner with the Counseling and Psychological Services from the TANG Center, and they do drop-in hours within our CVSC center. We also partner with the Oakland Vet Center with Dr. Kathleen Pierce. She does readjustment counseling. She is a VA psychologist, and she does drop-in hours, or she actually does appointments Tuesdays and Fridays of every week here in the center. And then, of course, we work with prospective students interested in coming to UC Berkeley. As I mentioned before, we also do peer advising, front desk peer advisors, and our VOPAs. Some of the other things we do in the center, we have a large community room where folks are able to come, hang out, study, utilize the computers there. We have free printing, a refrigerator, microwave. We also sell snacks in the center. Just a place to come, build community with fellow students. We also have a study room adjacent to the center that is only accessible by folks within the veteran military affiliated community. So you use your student ID card to be able to access that room. So our center is open Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. The building is usually open from 6 a.m. to midnight. Even with the center closed, you are able to access that study room. This becomes very important during times such as midterms and finals, where a lot of other spaces on campus tend to be pretty filled. Additionally, we have the Ethnic Studies 198 class, Independent Students in Education. This is the veteran. So this is a 1-unit pass, no pass course. We meet once a week, usually on Thursdays at 11 a.m., where we help students transition from a community college to UC Berkeley. The main focus of it is folks who actually have served in the military, but we have in the past also have dependents participate in our course as well. We have workshops, variety of different workshops, financial aid. We have companies come in. We have other higher education institutions come in to speak about their graduate programs, resume, career-related workshops. This is a variety of different workshops that we put on at the CVSC. We also host a lot of different community events. As you see in the picture that played here, one of the events we've done is, for the past few summers, is we go whitewater rafting. We do a lot of events sort of to build community amongst our student population. One event that is recurring is our CVSC Tuesdays, which occur every other Tuesday at the CVSC. Usually during lunchtime, we bring in a guest speaker, guest resource, or service, and we also cater that event. They're able to come, listen to a guest speaker, have free lunch, and also connect with your fellow students. We also partner with the student veteran organizations and alumni groups on campus to host different events. And we also partner with on and off campus organizations and resources to make sure any issues or needs that you may have are being addressed if we within the CVSC cannot address those issues for you. So moving forward to student budget, financial aid, and VA education benefits. So I want to highlight here 2 student budgets. On the left side, you have the undergraduate student budget, and then on the right side, you have the graduate student budget. What I want to highlight here is student budgets are, they are sort of cookie cutter budgets based on your living situation. They are what your financial aid package is based on. Included in a student budget is tuition fees, housing, food, books and supplies, personal expenses, transportation, and ship, all education-related expenses. The actual expenses, or some of the actual expenses, do vary depending on your unique needs. For graduate students, this is a student budget, but I do encourage you to connect with your actual program and your program's website to see what your actual cost of tuition fees, your actual cost of attendance is, because they do tend to vary depending from program to program. Sort of like a lot of things with the graduate division is, a lot of things tend to vary depending on what program you're in. So definitely encourage you to connect with your individual programs. Some things to consider regarding the student budget. What was not included in those student budgets that we're seeing is the non-resident supplemental tuition. For undergraduates, that's $29,754 per academic year. For graduate students in academic programs, it's $15,102, and then professional degree programs, $12,246 or $13,674, depending on the program. Again, I encourage you to connect with your program itself to see what the actual expenses are. I also want to let you know that SHIP, Student Health Insurance Plan, is optional. If you already have health insurance plan that is equal or better to SHIP, then you are able to opt out of the student health insurance plan. So moving forward to financial aid, just want to cover a few different things to help you understand your financial aid package. One thing is, if you have not completed a FAFSA, please complete a FAFSA. A lot of times in the past, we've had students who are utilizing the education benefits who do not submit a FAFSA because they're on those benefits. You are able to access both benefits. You are able to use the financial aid package, and you are able to use the education benefits. One thing to note is financial aid packages, most likely you've already been or have seen a conditional financial aid package. Now, these are conditional up until sometime in the summer, and that's due to fees not being finalized yet until the summer. Also, for some of you, you may have to submit certain forms to the financial aid office, such as income verification, or you may have to submit residency verification, which may change your student budget and financial aid package. I just want to highlight that. So what is in a financial aid package? So when you submit a FAFSA, the university awards you different forms of aid. This is all based on what was reported in the FAFSA, and what is reported in the FAFSA determines your expected family contribution or your student contribution. Based on that number is how much gift aid you are given. So the different forms of aid given to you are grants and scholarships. First off, FAFSA, those are the grants and scholarships from FAFSA, those are need-based grants and scholarships. You also have merit-based scholarships, which are not included in FAFSA, but that you can apply to individually in case you are offered, a certain amount of loans and don't want to take out those loans. You can go out there and apply to these merit-based grants and scholarships individually to supplement your gift aid that was given to you instead of taking out those loans. Then you have self-help. Self-help comes in the form of work study, so federal work study that is awarded to you. And then loans awarded to you, whether they be subsidized, unsubsidized, or parent loans for those of you who are dependents. So the difference between subsidized and unsubsidized loans, you do not start accruing interest until after you graduate, where unsubsidized loans, and most likely parent loans as well, those start accruing interest as soon as you take them out. So this next slide here, so this is an example of a financial aid package. And I'm using an example of an independent student with no dependents living in an off-campus residence with an expected family contribution of $0. So a student in that situation would be awarded $26,526 in gift aid, $10,000 in student loan and work, which is again self-help. And then the estimated cost of attendance here, tuition and fees, room and board, books and supplies, other expenses. So total cost of attendance is $36,526. You subtract the grants awarded to the student, and their estimated net cost is $10,000, meaning that's what comes out of pocket for that student, which they can pay again using that self-help, which is loans, work study, or if they have other financial resources. I also want to note, when you are going through your checklists and your tasks, one of those is with the financial aid office, you authorize the university to accept funding on your behalf. And this is sort of how the financial aid works on campus. So the university pays itself for tuition and fees first. Also, it may pay itself for on-campus housing with the grant awards that were awarded to you. Any remaining funds after they pay themselves then get refunded to you. So in this example, the student has $17,804 in tuition and fees during the academic year, which is about $8,900 per semester. They've received $26,526 in gift aid, which is about $13,263 per semester. So subtract the $8,900 for the $13,000, and the student would get about $4,000 refunded to during the fall and spring semesters to use towards education related expenses. And then any other expenses above that, again, that's where the self-help or other funds come into play. So some things to consider with financial aid: you are able to submit a parent contribution or a student contribution appeal. You're able to do that if you or your family's financial circumstances have changed from the time you submitted a FAFSA to when you begin classes at UC Berkeley. So one example of student veterans who submit a student contribution appeal is students who, while they were at community college, they were working anywhere from 20, 30, plus hours at the same time going to school. They no longer have that income coming in. So once they come to UC Berkeley, they're able to submit a student contribution appeal, let the university know actually that my financial aid situation has changed, with the goal of being able to get that expected family contribution number as close to zero or at zero to be able to get maximum gift aid. So forms of aid that you do not have to pay back. So depending on if you're a dependent or an independent student, the documentation you provide may be a little different. I also want to note that you cannot have more aid in your financial aid package than the cost of attendance. So if your cost of attendance is $36,000, basically, you come in with $40,000 different forms of funding, whether it be grant scholarships from FAFSA or VA education benefits or just other outside awards. Some of those would be reduced, or university funding would be reduced, because technically the university cannot provide you more funds than how much it costs or the cost of attendance to attend here. Now, you are able to increase that cost of attendance to make room for outside awards or to make room sort of for your actual student expenses. So cost of attendance adjustment request, you're able to document education related expenses, which then in turn increases your financial aid package. For most students who do not bring in outside awards or other forms of funding, what usually happens when they submit a cost of attendance adjustment request is they are offered more loans. Now, in the case of students who they are the ones, because of their service in the US military, earned Chapter 33 or Chapter 31 benefits, those students who submit a cost of attendance adjustment request, they are able to maximize both financial aid and the education funds. So when they submit a cost of attendance adjustment request, because of the amount of funding they have, instead of being offered loans, they are usually able to recapture some of the awards that were bumped out when the VA funds came in. And we usually have workshops at the beginning of the semester on how to submit those forms. I also want to highlight the Cal Grant. So the Cal Grant is usually, a great award to have, but the Cal Grant is fee specific, meaning it can only pay for tuition and fees. In the case of Cal Grant and VA education funds, when the Cal Grant is utilized, that's then reported that your tuition and fees have already been paid for. So then the VA sends less funding over because it sees that your tuition and fees are already paid for. The VA is always the last paid, so it allows all other awards to pay before they in turn pay. So how do VA education benefits impact your financial aid and things to consider? So VA education payments made directly to you. So those, for those of you utilizing post 9/11 or Chapter 31, vocational rehabilitation and employment, or those of you on Chapter 35 or some of the other benefits who receive housing allowance or stipends directly to you, those do not affect your financial aid package. Those don't need to be reported. When you do receive, or the university does receive funding from the VA directly to the university on your behalf, so usually in the form of tuition and fees payments, that may reduce your financial aid award. Again, like I mentioned before, those of you who served on active duty, who are utilizing Chapter 33 or Chapter 31 VRME, you're able to maximize both of those by submitting cost of attendance adjustment request. I also want to highlight the Cal Vet college fee waiver. So the college fee waiver waives system-wide tuition and fees, which is approximately $12,570 per academic year, or $6,285 per semester. If you have financial aid awards in the form of grants and scholarships, by utilizing the Cal Vet fee waiver, those grants and scholarships will be reduced by an equal amount because your need is now seen as less. So now that your tuition and fees are waived, your need is now seen as less. So then that means they provide you less financial aid award. If you have a financial aid package that pretty well packaged with gift aid, for some of you, it may not even make sense to go through the process of submitting college fee waiver. If you need to connect with me and have me look over your package, I can, definitely explain it a lot better for you and give you again a recommendation specific to you on whether it makes sense for you to actually use this benefit or not. And then I also want to touch on the non-resident supplemental tuition waiver. So for a student to receive this waiver, they must use a GI Bill at least the first semester, have separated from the military, or your sponsor has separated from the military within 3 years of the first day of instruction, or your sponsor is currently active duty. So if you meet these guidelines, you'll receive the waiver your entire academic career at Cal if you remain continuously enrolled at Cal. So you take no fall or spring semesters off. If you remain continuously enrolled, your waiver will stay with you even if you run out of the postgrad level GI Bill. If during your time at UC Berkeley you establish residency, then you would not have to worry about the waiver. You can go onto the registrar's website to find out more information about establishing residency for tuition purposes. Again, for those joining us late, text us your questions to 510-447-5475. Please make sure to include your name, SID, or application ID in case we need to follow up with you. Next, I want to touch on housing. Given the current situation and the uncertainty moving forward, we know this is sort of a difficult time to be out there looking for housing, especially if we don't know what's going to happen in the fall semester. To be perfectly transparent with you, we do not have the answer at this moment to inform you whether courses will be in residence or online. We are operating as if courses will be in residence, and the financial or the housing office is here to support you in case anything may go sideways with the fall semester. So I encourage you to also go to the housing website to be able to get more information regarding that. And that's housing.berkeley.edu. I do want to touch on the different options of housing while you're attending UC Berkeley. You have your dorms, you have your off-campus housing, you have the UC Village, which is family housing. So if you have dependents or you have a partner, then you're able to apply to the UC Village. UC Village is about 3 miles from campus. There's direct buses that go from the village to campus. And then another option is co-ops, which is they are not a UC Berkeley program, but they are affiliated with campus. It's the Berkeley Student Cooperative. They provide low-cost cooperative housing to university students. Usually the rent is drastically reduced, but you do have to perform some sort of work per week to be able to live in the co-ops. Usually that comes in the forms of either house maintenance or cooking for the house, different things like that. The co-ops are about 17 different houses. 2 of those houses are reserved for students who are 25 and older or are graduate students. And usually in those 2 houses, you are able to get your own room. In most of the other ones, you are sharing a room. The co-op system, they do include room and board. They also include 3 apartment complexes. In those, you're able to get your own room, but it doesn't include food. Resources to be able to check out is housing.berkeley.edu for on-campus or university-owned housing. calrentals.berkeley.edu, where folks are able to list their apartments or houses from the community with the goal. Usually, if you list on here, they ask that you don't list anywhere else. but that's another great resource if you're thinking about living off campus. Craigslist is a good resource. Connecting with property management companies, and also joining the Cal Veterans Group Facebook group to be able to connect with current students to see what they're if they know of any housing options available, or if they may be looking for roommates. And then just a few tips and reminders. Again, I encourage you to read your emails, complete your tasks on time that are listed on your portal. I want to touch on your unit load your first semester. Highly encourage you to take a manageable load your first semester here. By that, I mean, don't take 16, 18, 20 units your first semester here. Allow yourself to be able to transition and adjust to the workload at UC Berkeley. Start on a positive note and then continue to upward trajectory. It's a lot more difficult to overload yourself, overwhelm yourself. Not do too hot, then it feels like you're trying to catch up to either units, or you're trying to catch up to that GPA. Highly encourage you to take it easy that first semester. Also, I want to know, have an outlet, have something that helps you disconnect from academics, something that helps you de-stress. You do not want to burn yourself out. If you allow yourself, you can burn out pretty quickly here. Find a community, whether it's veteran and military affiliate or not. Find a home here on campus. Don't be afraid of office hours. Engage with your professors and GSI. So office hours are hours that professors and graduate student instructors, which are like TAs for each class, host to be able to, you're able to go in there, connect with that professor, GSI, ask them questions, build that relationship with those professors. These are folks that are, leaders in their field. And then with GSIs, folks that in the future are going to be leaders in the field. Definitely a great opportunity to connect with them. Ask for help. Don't wait until it becomes too late. Whether it's from your professors or GSIs, counselors on campus, me or Jay, don't let it become too late. Because sometimes if it's too late, there's nothing we can really do. So make sure you do ask for help. Find and connect with study groups. The saying goes, it takes a village. So you got here through a lot of your own accomplishments, but I'm sure a lot of you also had a lot of support by that support system here on campus. And then, especially for transfer students, start preparing and thinking of what your next steps are. I know you just got here, and I know it's something really a lot of you aren't thinking about, but 2 years will go by pretty quickly. Start preparing for what comes next. Build those connections with professors, with GSIs, with fellow students, doing internships, doing research, being able to sort of have a robust as possible resume by the time you leave here. So when you go into industry, or if you're applying on graduate school, you're able to get letters of recommendation and things like that. So definitely encourage you to start thinking of what comes next. I want to highlight the student organizations on campus. So the Cal Veterans Group is the largest veteran military affiliated student organization on campus. Mostly made up of undergraduates, but there are graduate students who participate in that. Their space is located within the Cal Veterans Services Center. A lot of times people confuse the Cal Veterans Group with the Cal Veterans Services Center. We are the professional program on campus, while they are a student organization. They host their meetings in VSC as well. There's also the Haas Veterans Club up at the Haas School of Business, mainly NBA students in that. Then there's also the military and veterans at Berkeley Law, which is at the law school. Again, how to contact us. There's our email addresses. Again, I'm Luis Hernandez. I am the program coordinator and academic counselor for the Cal Veterans Service Center. Jay Nelson is a campus certified official at the Office of Registrar. Jay Nelson, or JT Nelson at berkeley.edu. And to reach the Veteran Services over at the Office of Registrar, is Veteran Services at berkeley.edu. Next, we'll be taking your questions. This portion will go into a live session, but I do want to remind you, if you still have questions, those of you who joined us late, text us your questions to 510-447-5475. Make sure you include your name, student ID, or application ID in case we do need to follow up with you. With that, we'll go over to the live session of our presentation. Awesome. Can y'all hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
Good.
Double check. All right, so again, congratulations and welcome. My name is Luis Hernandez, the program coordinator, academic counselor with the Cal Veteran Services Center. I have Esperanza Bernal and Jay Nelson here as well, who were also part of the presentation. I do have just a few things I wanted to go over that we didn't touch on during the live stream. One of them is, so if you're utilizing post 9/11 GI Bill benefits or you're utilizing transfer and title benefits, then SHIP is paid for, so the health insurance is paid for. If you do decide to waive from that and you have a financial aid package that is paying for that SHIP, your financial aid package will not be reduced if you waive out a SHIP. Basically, you know, the financial aid office knows that if you waive out a SHIP, you're most likely paying for health insurance elsewhere. I also want to touch on the cancel for non-payment policy, which is something that you may see as we get closer to the start of the fall semester. Basically, you need to have 20% of your tuition and fees paid for by the start of the fall semester. If you're utilizing the Cal Vet fee waiver or post 9/11 or vocational rehabilitation, basically any VA benefit that pays for your tuition and fees, then you will be covered and protected from that policy. If you have a financial aid package that is paying for your tuition and fees as well, that's a policy you really don't have to worry about. It's more of a policy if you're not getting a financial aid package, something that you have to pay out of pocket for your tuition and fees. That's something you do have to be concerned about. Priority enrollment. So if you served in the military or currently serving, then you do get priority enrollment. This is a benefit that really starts for your spring 2021 semester, as students have already been choosing classes for the fall 2020 semester. But know that that is something that you will get. And not many people on campus really get that benefit, so it is pretty impactful. Set up EFT, electronic funds transfers. That way, you know, financial aid or any refunds that go to you can go to you directly, you know, a lot quicker than having to have a check printed out and then them having to get that to you. The disabled student program, I definitely encourage y'all to look into the disabled student program. We do have an advocate within that program for veterans, where we can, you know, connect you with Julie. For a lot of folks in the past, I know there is some stigma as far as using the disabled student program. You know, the way we see it is this is just leveling the playing field for you as a student, whether that be visible or invisible disabilities or even temporary disabilities. You may be able to get accommodations. So some people, you know, for their midterms and finals, they're able to get time and a half. You know, so they go to a proctoring room and be able to get more time for classes. Some students are able to, you know, get somebody to take notes for them or record lectures. Sometimes professors don't like to be recorded, but if you have those accommodations, you're able to be able to record those lessons or those lectures when you're in there. So yeah, I just wanted to touch on those points. Esperanza or Jay, do you have anything to add?
No, you pretty much covered it. Sounds good to me.
I would just kind of add that there's a lot of insecurity or just anxiety that could be happening or that you might be dealing with. And it's really important to just kind of take a step back and really review everything. We're here for you. There's a ton of resources that are available to you as a newly admitted student and as a student here at Cal. And it's, you know, we're going to give you all the information, but it could be kind of like almost information overload. So my biggest advice is, you know, carve out some time to really sit down and do what Luis kind of was saying in the presentation, which is be responsible for meeting timeframes. If you wait until something, the deadline has already passed, or you didn't read that correctly, or things like that, we might be in a situation where we can't help you if this would have happened an earlier date. So really take your time, read all of the information. I know it could be a lot, but we're trying to work as best as possible to make sure that you have everything at your fingertips.
So we did have some questions that were asked before on the RSVP page. So we'll go through those. Then we'll also go through some of your questions that you texted to us. And then we'll move over to the student panel and Q&A with them. If you joined us late and you would like to ask a question, again, that number is 510-447-5475. One of the questions that was asked was how to apply the post 9/11 GI Bill prior to the fall semester starting. So as I explained or Jay explained in the presentation, and also if you go to our webpage or Jay's webpage, you're able to see the items that you do need to submit for you to be certified. So that is your certificate of eligibility. You need to go on va.gov. And if you've already been utilizing benefits, basically transfer your benefits from your community college or wherever you're coming from to UC Berkeley. If you've never used benefits, then you need to initiate those benefits with the VA. Jay, are you still requiring students to submit a confirmation or a screenshot of the confirmation that they submitted that form to the VA?
Yeah, if they have the screenshot, I would like to, I mean, the VA wants that to be in every student's file. So if you've used a benefit before, yeah, take that screenshot, send it my way. If for some reason you didn't get the screenshot done, that's fine. We can also fill out the form manually. As long as it's in your file, that's what the VA wants to see.
Thank you, Jay.
I just
also
had,
go ahead, Jay.
Well, I was going to mention about the certification process and receiving benefits before the semester starts. It's our goal to certify everyone's enrollment about a month to a month and a half before the semester starts. This allows for the 3 to 5 weeks processing time that it takes the VA to send a tuition payment to the school. On top of that, our billing department is going to be putting placeholders on any student's account that uses a benefit. So your fees, the applicable fees, will be cleared out pretty early on. And then at that point, we'll just be waiting for the VA to process and send us a payment. So really shouldn't be too much worry moving forward. If you see that there's still tuition and fees on your account and you're using a benefit, just reach out to us and we'll see what the issue may be.
Thank you, Jay.
Yeah.
And then the final form is the intake form. That's also linked on our webpage and also on the Registrar of Veteran Benefits webpage. So I know a lot of you who have already been utilizing benefits, you're used to doing an academic plan every single semester that you need to submit. Here at UC Berkeley, all courses you take count towards your units and count towards your graduation. So all you need to do is submit Jay will send a Google form out every semester for the following semester, asking you if you want to be certified for that semester. If you fail to do that form, you will not get certified. So it's important that you do fill that form out for whenever you do want to get certified.
Yep, and just Jay,
do you have an idea of when Paul?
Well, a quick update for that form. Traditionally, it's been a Google form about the last 3 years. We're working on some updates though in our student information system. We may be able to allow students to request certification through their Cal Central account. And that may start this fall 20. That's what we're shooting for. So I'll be sending out communications to everyone on how to request certification. The main thing to keep in mind is that it will require some sort of form submission every semester you want to use the benefit.
Awesome. Thank you, Jay.
Sure.
Next question is regarding the CalVet fee waiver. How do you qualify for that? So there are 4 different subsections of the CalVet fee waiver. This is a state of California Veterans Affairs benefit for folks who are dependents of a service member who has a service-connected disability. Plan B is usually the one most of our students fall under. The county VSO, so your local county VSO, is the one who determines eligibility for that. They would have you fill out their forms with them, and then they provide a letter, which is then provided to the university. And like I mentioned in the presentation, this covers system-wide tuition and fees. So tuition and fees is about $8,900 a semester. That would cover $6,250 roughly per semester. So again, it doesn't cover everything because each campus does have fees that are specific to that campus that are not covered by that. Transferring your voc rehab is the next question. Location of VA clinics and hospitals, BAH for Berkeley. Is T-PREP recommended, and recommended housing options? It's a lot of questions there, so I'll try to get through them. Transferring voc rehab, that's something you do with your case manager, wherever you're transferring from. They're the ones that should be transferring that file over to the Oakland VBA for you. In some cases, I have seen some students who keep their case manager from wherever they're coming from, but usually they do transfer it over. Location of VA clinics and hospitals. So the closest one is in Oakland. It's probably like 10, 15 minutes away from campus. Then there's Martinez, which is about 45 minutes away from campus. The SFVA, which is, I think, one of the better options, or the Palo Alto VA. The SFVA is about, I'd say, anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour and a half. The Palo Alto VA, again, is 45 minutes to an hour and a half. So with the Oakland VA, it's just understaffed and underfunded. So that definitely impacts the type of service that you're going to receive there. Not to say they're not good, but know that it may be impacted. So that's something to consider. If any other folks have anything, any preference of where y'all are using VA services? No? Y'all are good?
I've been in the Bay Area for about, I don't know, 12 years now. I use the San Francisco VA hospital quite a bit. I haven't really needed to anytime recently, like within the last 4 or 5 years, but if it's, I don't know, for me, it was worth the trip to go. I mean, I lived in San Francisco part of the time. I lived in, on the Berkeley side of the Bay some of the time. For me, it was always easier just to go to the San Francisco clinic. They had great service, timely. It was always pretty quick in and out.
The BAH for Berkeley, what is that, 35, 34? I believe that is correct, $3,534 is the current rate. Is T-PREP recommended for engineering students? I think it's up to the individual, but I definitely, from my understanding of students who have taken that, is that I would recommend that for students if you're able to attend that. And then recommended housing options. Anybody have any recommendations for that? One thing I will touch on that, the closer you are to campus, the more expensive it's going to be. So the farther away you get, usually it tends to get cheaper. But then you have to balance that out with, that's going to cut into study time or time that you could be doing other things. So it's really a matter of balancing the commute with, what else you could be doing. As far as living around campus, north side of campus tends to be a lot quieter than the south side of campus. And then the side over closer to the stadium, that's where a lot of the frats and sororities live. So that area is a little louder as well. Any of y'all on the panel want to say anything about housing?
I live on the north side of campus, where University Avenue is. It's pretty quiet, but it's kind of a little bit expensive if you try to get an apartment yourself. So getting a roommate kind of would be ideal. So yeah.
Thank you. Next question, again, it has to do with housing and parking. If they're commuting to Travis Air Force Base.
Luis.
And about how far should I expect the full post 9/11 GI Bill benefits to help cover the cost of living expenses in the Berkeley Bay Area? Again, I think that's very much on individual needs. You have that plus your financial aid package. Some students, they are able to stretch their funding out a lot more than other students. So that definitely is up to, your individual needs.
Yeah, so one of my roommates right now, Zach, you guys know him, he's moving out and he's looking for places. And one of the kind of good things about the current COVID-19 situation is that if you're a renter right now, you kind of have a lot of leverage. So some people are offering him like 2-3 months of free rent to move in right now, just because people are probably not going to move into the area. And I guess the landlords are just a little desperate. So, I mean, if you figure that you're going to move here, then kind of you do have some leverage, but yeah, so it's something to consider.
We have another question on the Cal Vet fee waiver, which is something I touched on it before, but they're asking if their financial aid package will be impacted if they use the Cal Vet fee waiver. Yes, it will be. So if you have a financial aid package, so say, for example, you have a Cal Grant or another scholarship that is going towards your tuition and fees, if you submit a Cal Vet fee waiver, that is a waiver. So there are no funds being exchanged. So basically, because your need is now seen as less, it's been reduced because your tuition and fees have been covered, then your financial aid package will be adjusted by that same amount. So it's an equal amount that it would be reduced by.
Right, and currently the Cal Vet fee waiver covers your in-state tuition. You have to be classified a California resident by UC Berkeley in order to use the waiver. But it will cover the tuition charge and the student services fee. For the current academic year, that's $6,285 that it's worth. So it'll adjust each year. If tuition price changes, it'll adjust with that. But those are the two applicable charges. You're going to have a few registration fees left over.
One of the next questions is, I don't have kids, but I have a spouse. I wonder if I can have a priority chance for the University Village with military status. Your military status does not have any benefit or impact on having priority housing on campus. There are a lot of our students who are married or have a partner who are living in the village without children. And I think Gloria and Purvis can touch more on that once we get to that student panel side. The next one is, which type of advising should I seek? General, major, or veterans? Is veteran advising a one-stop shop? So again, you have different levels of advising on campus. Depending on what college you're in, so like the College of Letters and Science, they have their LNS advisors. Then you have your major advisors. Then you have financial aid advisors, travel abroad advisors. It depends on what you're looking for or what the question is. A good starting point, I think, if you want to come to the Vet Center, we can definitely try to answer your question. If we're not able to answer your question, then we can definitely steer you to the right person to be able to have that question answered. Some students, they come as soon as they have a question, they come, or some students like to explore before they come and ask questions. So it's really what your comfort level it is and what your question is or what you're trying to figure out. Are we a one-stop shop? So Jay, the certifying official, he is housed in the office of the registrar, which is over in Sproul Hall. The Cal Vet Center is located at Hearst Memorial Gym, 102 Hearst Memorial Gym. We have a lot of services that we offer in the center, and we partner and have different on and off campus organizations come to the center. But we also want you to engage and be part of the larger Berkeley community, and because of that, we intentionally do not make the Cal Veteran Services Center a one-stop shop. A question was, how do wounded veterans apply for disabled students program? So to initiate the disabled student program, you do need to apply online. And then once you apply online, you're able to, basically they have an intake appointment with you. So you're able to provide your documentation from the VA as proof for your disabilities. Based on that, they're able to determine what type of accommodations they will give you. Let me see. Yeah, another question that came through or remarks was as far as financial aid and the VA education benefits, you are able to apply for financial aid. Financial aid is based on need. Your VA education benefits is something you earned. So definitely, if you haven't already applied for FAFSA, do that now. Some of y'all, I've already answered your questions directly, which were pretty specific to your case. One thing I did want to mention is if you are planning on taking summer classes this summer at Berkeley, you do need to have a 2019-2020 FAFSA in to see if you are eligible for aid for this summer through UC Berkeley. A question I was also asked is, so this student is a spring 2021 admit. Their question is, what's the possibility of me graduating on time in 2022? I have seen students, come here and graduate in 3 semesters. But sort of the framing of your question, on time, really, you're not competing against anybody. There is no on time or, being late. It's your comfort level. It's what you want to get out of Berkeley. For some students, they extend their time here because of the different opportunities or all the amount of opportunities that they'd like to take advantage of on campus. So really, you're not in a race. I know some folks want to, get their education done with as fast as possible, but you really have to consider some of the cost benefits to trying to graduate in 3 semesters. Are you going to be taking classes in the summer? What's your unit load going to be like during the regular academic year? If you're taking, an excessive amount of units, how is that going to impact the quality of work you're putting in there? How is that going to impact, your quality of life outside of academics? So it's really something to really look at the cost benefits of that. Again, if you have questions, if you joined us late, text your questions to 510-447-5475. With that, I will turn it over to our student panelists. So again, our student panelists, if you can introduce yourself, so your name, your major, and your military affiliation. We'll start with Gloria.
Hi there, my name is Gloria. I'm an anthropology major and I'm a Marine Corps veteran.
Go ahead, Purvis.
My name is Purvis. I'm a poli-sci major and I'm a Navy veteran.
Hi everybody. My name's Oi Tran. I'm a Marine Corps veteran and I'm econ major.
Go ahead, Philip.
I'm out. Oh, my bad. Yeah. Hey guys, I'm Alfred, poli-sci major, and I'm a reservist in the United States Marine Corps.
I'm Philip Bowden. I'm a media studies major. I'm an Army veteran.
So one question for all of you is, what is one thing that you know now that you wish you knew when you first started at Berkeley?
For me, I should have tried a lot harder. Yeah, because at first you come in and you see the workload. It's not a lot of homework, so you kind of like fresh up until your first midterm, and you realize the midterm is nothing exact or like similar to the homework, because the homework is really easy, but the midterm they dive very deep in. So don't take the homework as like, hey, it's an easy class, you gotta study really study because the midterm gonna like blow you. So yeah.
To kind of add on to that, I feel like the best way to tackle midterms and usually just like big assignments in general is to form study groups within your classes. That's been a big help for me to get through like the toughest classes I've had here at Cal, because doing everything by yourself is obviously going to be a lot harder than having the input of other students, especially if they're the ones who are like kind of at the top of their class. So try to make friends when you're in class as well.
Yeah, I think it's something you touched on earlier about it's not a competition, it's not a rush. I think I learned more outside the classroom than really inside the classroom because you have this vast amount of knowledge and experiences that you're able to tap into, and to rush through school and miss that opportunity, I think you're shortchanging yourself.
Thank you for that. Next question is, what is one thing you like about Cal, and what is one thing that you feel can be improved about it, or your experience?
I think one thing I like about Cal is, like I said, is the vast amount of knowledge and the people willing to help or try to help. One thing I dislike about it is the bureaucracy that it takes to get the help that you need. You have to jump through a lot of hoops to get to the people who are trying to work with you, or trying to help you out, or who want to serve you. But just navigating that bureaucracy it becomes time consuming.
I would say something that I like about Cal are the professors and the people teaching you. I think that they're really invested in your education, and they're very accessible in a way that I wouldn't have anticipated before beginning my journey at Cal. And so for me, that's something that I really like. Something I don't like is just a matter of like the quality of my life. The food is very expensive around campus. I don't like that. I don't like that you can't really find parking even on the street, although there is a parking garage. I think it's on Channing or something, and it's super cheap. And if I could pass that tidbit of information on to incoming students, it would be that. Find that parking garage, park there before 9 a.m. and get really cheap parking.
I would say, as far as what I like about Cal, is that they're like, it's almost unlimited amount of resources. If you want to find something to do, or you need access to anything, it's almost available anywhere. But also at the same time, that that wealth of resources can seem overwhelming at times, because there's literally anything available to you, from like the startup tank, or being around professors who are for top leaders in their fields. You got to make sure you use your time wisely and get to the things you need to get to, or you could feel like you missed out on an opportunity.
If I could just interject something real quick. I guess the best part about Cal for me was just kind of like the change of pace, from going from community college to like a big university, was like the networking. For those of you who came from community college, I don't know how the networking kind of structure was back in the schools you've been to, and I'm sure they were kinetic in of themselves. But here at Cal, I've met so many different people who have so many different backgrounds and experiences, and other people that it can help you out as well, in a myriad of backgrounds. So that's definitely a plus that I've seen here. I guess my biggest gripe, not my biggest, but one of the most prominent gripes I had with Cal when I first came here was like kind of just being thrown into the grinder without a whole lot of guidance along the way. Like, yes, what Phil was saying about like resources, they're definitely there to help you. With that being said, it does seem a little bit overwhelming to kind of take into part of like which or what do these resources offer specifically in regards to how they can help you academically, socially, intellectually, etc. So I would say try.
Did Alfred freeze?
The social populations are. Oh, yeah, good.
Good job.
Keep going, Alfred. You froze for a bit.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, sorry. Where did I cut off from?
Talking about them resources.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, so yeah, just reiterating off what like Philip said, resources are good, but because there's so many, try to find the ones that are pertaining to you specifically, basically.
For me, it's like sometimes stuff you learn in class, you think a lot, but I think just try to go out and use it in real life. On Berkeley, they have a URAP research assistant thing. Apply to it because a lot of stuff you learn in class are not applicable in their like in real life to do research or apply it. You will learn a lot more doing URAP or research opportunity because those are where the skill set come in play, and those are where you testing your actual theory and actually what you learn. So yeah. And that's the bad thing about Cal is like they teach you so much theory, they teach you so much stuff, but if you do not willing to go out there to apply what can be applied in real life, then you don't learn anything. That's my take.
Thank y'all. A question that came in, and Jay, you can chime in on this as well, is are your Chapter 33 benefits extended for the duration of the semester if they are exhausted halfway through?
Sure. So it really depends. What I've heard, oh, sorry, I'm getting some crazy sun glare. If you are a veteran, I've been told by the VA that they will pay out your entire last semester, even if your benefits run out during the semester. Where we've encountered kind of issues with that is if we have to update your enrollment sometime during your last semester. If we initially certify you for 13 units and you end up having to drop some units or even add units during that semester, and we update the VA with those unit counts, they sometimes then will prorate. They'll go ahead and prorate. I know that's not like a great answer. The answer is they're supposed to pay out your entire last semester. I've gotten that in writing from the VA. If you're a dependent, that's not necessarily the case. If you're using a transfer entitlement, they will likely prorate everything. That means your last semester, they'll prorate the tuition payment, they'll prorate the allowance for housing for the post 9/11 GI Bill based on the date that your benefit runs out. If you're ever unsure about your own specific like situation, you can always go to the GI Bill customer help website. If you just type in Google GI Bill, ask a question, that's the first site that comes up. You can create an account and you can submit your question and get an answer from the VA in writing. My benefits running out this semester. How's it gonna pay out? And you get an answer from writing from them. That way, if it doesn't actually happen the way you're expecting, you have something to protect yourself, and you can go back to the VA and say, "This was my understanding." That's my recommendation. But to summarize, veterans, they're supposed to pay out the whole semester, but try to have your schedule finalized. Dependents, you can expect your benefit to be prorated your last semester based on the date that your benefit runs out.
Thank you, Jay.
No problem.
As far as financial aid is concerned on campus, really 12 units is considered full-time. The VA, 12 units is considered full-time as well. There are some circumstances where students are able to take a reduced course load if it is approved by your college. So some of those scenarios may be if you're a student parent, you can take a reduced course load. I believe if you're working a certain amount of hours because of your financial need, you may be able to take reduced course load. If you're in your last semester here and you've already fulfilled a lot of your requirements, you may be able to take a reduced course load. Financial aid, for the most part, if it is approved, won't be impacted, but your VA benefits will be impacted. So again, the VA, even if it is another actually example is DSP, that could be an accommodation you get, is a reduced course load through them. But even if it is approved by the university, the VA doesn't take that into account. So if you do decide to take a reduced course load, that is something to consider as far as VA benefits are concerned.
I want to touch on that in terms of financial aid wise. Even if you're graduating or you have a reduced course load approved by DSP or any other reasons, 6 unit would be the minimum requirement in order for your other financial aid to disperse. So that might include your federal Pell, or in terms of your taking out any federal loans, or in terms of any institutional gift aid that's coming from your financial aid package besides your veterans benefit. So a minimum of 6.
Thank you, Lana. We have a question. Does veteran benefits pay in the summer? Veterans benefits do pay in the summer. Usually as a continuing student, you are able to get the summer fee grant. And that is if you take 6 or 7 units, you qualify for the summer fee grant. If you take 5 or less, you won't get the summer fee grant. The summer fee grant is fee specific, meaning it can only be used to pay for your units and fees during the summer semester. So if you do opt into utilizing your VA benefits and you do receive the summer fee grant, then really what you're benefiting from utilizing your VA benefits is the housing allowance and not the tuition and fees that get sent over. If Purvis and Gloria can touch on your living situation in the village, sort of what are the accommodations there and what's it like to live there? Gloria, I know your kids are in the Albany School District, I believe. So what is sort of your opinion of the Albany School District as well?
Hey, yeah, so I live in the University Village. Both of my children, well, my son is part of the Albany School District. He's 5 years old. It's one of the best school districts in the Bay Area. I mean, I've said it's comparable to Walnut Creek, and it is. It's a very expensive area to live in. Fortunately, the University Village is not expensive. It's subsidized. The rent is all inclusive. It includes your cable, your internet, water, garbage, everything. And if you look online, if you were just to search University Village, UC Berkeley, you could find the rates in both the East Village and the West Village by the size of the apartment. I have a 3-bedroom, 1-bath in the East Village. So my rent is $2,100 for everything. And I have a parking spot. I'm very happy living there. I know that there was a question about having priority as a veteran. Like you said, you don't receive priority, but I've watched a lot of people move out because of COVID-19 and go back to their home of record and just finish out the semester online. So there are a lot of vacancies right now, and it shouldn't be too competitive to get in. So yeah, I really like living here. I like the community. I like that Purvis and I live on the same block, and I can see him when I walk my dogs at night. It's a very good place to live, and I don't think I'd be able to be a student at Cal if it weren't for the University Village, because the commute would be too much. I wouldn't be able to engage in any extracurricular activities. I wouldn't be able to have the school schedule that I do. So yeah, it's a really good experience. It's a really good amenity that the university offers to us, and I'm very happy here.
Yeah, I would echo what Gloria said. It's a jewel to have a sense of community within the vet center, then to have a lot of veterans. Well, not a lot, but to have veterans that live right here in the village, so you continue that, build that community and build that family structure, family environment that you need to be successful here. You know, it's beneficial. They have public transportation that comes here to the village, takes you straight to campus. So there's no need to worry about transportation or you know, how I'm gonna get to school, you know, and worry about parking in that situation. As far as getting here, my advice was, if University Village is what you want to do, I would try to get here early. You know, if you have the means to pay a month prior to school start, I'll pay out of pocket a month just to put yourself ahead of the curve. And because like she said, there are people moving out right and left. So it shouldn't be too difficult, but it's still, it's a numbers game. So yeah, it's a good situation.
Thank you, Gloria and Purvis. I don't see any more questions coming in. I'll give it a few minutes, but Jay or Esperanza, if there's any last things y'all want to touch on before we shut this down. Or if Lana and Seema, our partners over at the Financial Aid Office, have anything to add, please do so now.
Oh, sorry, as soon as I turned my mic on, my dog started going crazy. So I apologize to those who are hearing the noise, but I would just take this opportunity to kind of remind you guys that, you know, in reviewing your conditions of admission, there are tasks that you need to complete. We definitely want to see you on campus, and you have an assigned admissions officer. Their name and email is listed in the conditions of admission, so make sure you look for that. I believe it's going to be on the left-hand side, and it provides our email. If you have any questions that are admissions related, if you have any other questions, I mean, we could definitely also forward you. I've had questions regarding like housing and diets and things. Unfortunately, I can't answer them, but I can definitely forward them to, or forward you to the correct information. So read them, read it all the way through. If anything has changed in terms of your spring schedule currently right now, if any of your classes have changed, if you've run into any sort of trouble academically, we need you to let us know. And the way you do that is by submitting an academic, it's called an admissions update form, and the link for that form is within your conditions of admission. So I would just say to kind of read that. If you have any questions, reach out to your admissions officer. If it's specifically related to any of the spring courses, make sure you use that admissions form update. And congratulations on your admissions, and go Bears.
Thank you, SB.
I guess one last thing I'd like to say is, well, first off, congrats on your admissions. That's no small feat. I'm a UC alum as well. I majored in anthropology here. Graduated in 2016. Main thing, our website, registrar.berkeley.edu, has a ton of information. Not only can you find information about using veteran benefits and how to initiate your benefits at Berkeley, but there's all kinds of stuff about with academic calendars. There are, you know, a lot of different information about what's available to you, and you know how the registrar can help you. So I encourage you to take a look at that website.
Thank you, Jay.
No problem.
So yeah, our website at the Veteran Center is veteran.berkeley.edu. If you go to that website, on the top, you'll see the link linking you to our newly admitted student page. A lot of this information we went over is on there. Also on there, you'll be able to find links to be able to connect with our peer advisors. So they are doing online sessions Monday through Friday. They're doing it twice a day for an hour each time. Our outreach peer advisors are also doing online sessions. I know there was a comment stating there's no STEM majors in these things. Some of our peer advisors are STEM majors. So if you either reach out to myself, I can connect you with the student who's a STEM major, or you reach out to cvsc@berkeley.edu. That email address is monitored by our peer advisors. Either they can answer your questions, or they can also connect you with one of our STEM majors, or really any major, for any of you who have questions and sort of want to start asking questions regarding what it is to be a student here, or what it's like to be a student here within a specific major, or you know, things like, you know, what professors to take, what classes to take, just different things like that. Philip, you have something?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that if there's anybody who is not a frequent social media user, that if you're not a person that is willing to use Facebook, I would consider you should think heavily about that. I did not have a Facebook for most of the first semester, and there were many things that I was not able to be aware of, or people I could not communicate with, because I just did not want to use Facebook. And it can be intrusive, but as far as keeping up with your classmates, if you need anything that's related to school, most of the school will be doing that through Facebook. So that's just a heads up, because it could make your life a lot easier, especially if you're looking for things like housing or help with studying, or just really anything campus related.
Thank you, Philip. So the CVSC, we do have a listserv. We generally try to send out a minimal amount of emails. You know, we usually send one out every 2 weeks. We know you get a lot of emails from different campus departments and programs and things like that. So if you would like to be on that, you can either go to our website and sign up for that, or you can send me an email, luishberkeley.edu, and I can get you on that listserv. Again, it's a lot of the information we put on there is timely and relevant information. We try not to spam you with a lot of emails. So consider joining our listserv. We have a question that just came through. We send the veteran intake form to Jay Nelson. Yes, all your forms you either send directly to Jay Nelson at jtnelson@berkeley.edu, or you can send it to veteranservices@berkeley.edu.
And Luis, my preference is the veteranservices@berkeley.edu.
Awesome. Thank you for clarifying that.
Yep, the email addresses on where to send documents is on our website, on the veteran pages of the Office of the Registrar website.
Awesome. Thank you.
Mhm.
So yeah, that is our presentation and our Q&A session. You know, again, congratulations on being admitted to UC Berkeley. For those of you who already accepted their offer admissions, congratulations on becoming a Golden Bear. For those of you still making a decision, we hope this presentation was helpful and you're able to make informed and educated decision as to where you're going to be attending in the fall semester. So thank you very much. Go Bears. Have a good night.